Welcome to Love for Geography.
Have you ever been to a forest for a picnic? You might have surely gone to a park if you live in a city. But if you live in a village, you have definitely gone to a cultivable land or any orchard. But how do you differentiate between the natural vegetation and the planted vegetation? The same variety may be found growing wild in the forest under natural condition, and the same tree may be the planted in your garden under human supervision. So, you have to know natural vegetation refers to a plant community that has been left undisturbed over a long period of time. The plant community that adapt themselves to a particular physical conditions and without any human interference is called natural vegetation. In this video, we are quickly going to learn about different types of forest that exist in India. As you know, India is a tropical country. The mainland stretches from 8 degrees 4 minutes north to 37 degrees 6 minutes north. The Tropic of Cancer divides the India into two equal parts. The lower half of India lies in the tropical region and the upper half lies in the subtropical region. Now, what is subtropical region? The subtropics are geographic and climatic zones located roughly between the tropical zone and temperate zone. We observe the presence of subtropical zone on the both hemisphere. Now, we are also aware of the fact as we go away from the equator towards pole, temperature as well as rainfall decreases. The reason for this phenomenon is the incoming solar radiation. At the equator, the sun rays are the most direct on the earth. But as you move towards pole, the sun's angle on the sky decreases. And as a result, incoming solar intensity also reduces. The total length of India from north to south, it is about 3214 kilometers. This huge latitudinal variation keeps tremendous effect on the climate from warm Kanyakumari to cold Kashmir. Now, temperature and rainfall are the important determinants of the climate that affect the distribution of natural vegetation on the basis of some certain features such as predominant vegetation type and climatic regions. Indian forest can be divided into the following groups. First one is the tropical evergreen and semi-evergreen forest. Carefully take the word tropical. It means tropical region. Now, which one is this place? Wait, this region is on the world map and this is on the map of India. Secondly, the word evergreen means green leaves throughout the year. Now say it all together, tropical evergreen forest. This forest remain green throughout the year and they exist in the tropical region in India. So we can say these forests are found in the western slopes of the Western Ghat, then hills of the northeastern region and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Here you have to remember the mean annual temperature should be 22 degrees centigrade and annual rainfall should be over 200 centimeter. So we can say tropical evergreen forests are found in the windward side of the mountain like Western Ghat and the Purvanchal range or in the warm and humid areas. We already know that windward side of the mountains affected by the high amount of rainfall due to the orographic effect and the tropical regions are also affected by the convectional rainfall. Now, what is convectional rainfall? The tropical region is a warm and humid region because throughout the year tropical region receives maximum amount of direct sunlight. That means the temperature of the tropical region is comparatively higher. As the temperature increases, so it accelerates the process of evaporation. Evaporation is a process that converts liquid into water vapor. After evaporation, condensation takes place. Condensation is the opposite of evaporation. When water vapor is converted back into the liquid form, it forms cloud. And when cloud release moisture as rain, generally in the afternoon, that is called the convectional rainfall or 4 o'clock rainfall. Overall, we need to understand that tropical region have a higher evaporation rate, and high evaporation rate means high amount of rainfall, and when evaporation rate is less, that means very little rain. And remember one thing, high amount of rainfall promotes the vegetation growth. So the trees in the tropical forest are dense, tall and green. Now let's observe the forest structure of the tropical evergreen forest. If you see the ground level, you will find shrubs and creeper plants. After that, you will find short trees of around 20 to 30 meters height, and then comes the tall trees which grow about 60 meters high above the ground. These trees are tall because there is a competition among the trees and plants of the tropical forest for sunlight. The taller ones enjoy the maximum amount of sunlight. They constantly struggle and fight to grow taller so that they can have the maximum sunlight. Usually, the uppermost branches of the trees act as an umbrella, which looks like a canopy, and this canopy do not allow sunlight to reach the ground. Leaves of the tropical trees that are broad, long and have a narrow ending. The shape of the leaves helps the raindrops to run off quickly, because if that doesn't happen, then there will be fungus and bacteria on the leaves due to the warm temperature. There is no definite time for the trees to shed their leaves. That's why forests appear green throughout the year. Trees found in this forest include rosewood, mahogany, ebony, etc. Ebony creates very dense canopy which is impenetrable for sunlight. Rosewood is found in impure stands. Mahogany is inaccessible forest belt due to the dense growth. The semi-evergreen forests are found in the less rainy parts of these regions. Such forests have a mixture of evergreen and moist deciduous trees. So we can say semi-evergreen forests are comparatively drier areas. This forest represents transition from wet evergreen to deciduous forest. In other words, we can say that the evergreen forest will degrade to semi-evergreen due to the human interference or less rainfall. It is like a descending order of a forest cover. So, tropical evergreen will have the maximum amount of forest cover, then slowly and gradually it will decrease towards the deciduous forest. Main trees of these forests are white cedar, hollock, kale, etc. The British were aware of the economic value of this forest in India. Forests were also cleared for introducing plantation of tea, rubber and coffee. Next, we are going to start tropical deciduous forest. Let's look at the word tropical, which means, yes, tropical region, and deciduous means any plant, tree or shrub that shed their leaves in a particular period of time. These are the most widespread forest in India. These forests are also found in the humid areas of the subtropical region. Now, these forests are also known as monsoon forest because the trees in the forest shed their leaves during the dry season. Again, they regrow during monsoon season in India. Now the question is, why tropical deciduous trees shed their leaves? And the answer is to prevent excess loss of water via transpiration. Tropical deciduous trees usually composed of large and broad leaves. When water is plentiful, the trees take up water. The large leaves take the sunlight to photosynthesis food, and the excess water is removed through the leaves via transpiration. During dry seasons, when water is scarce, it becomes a necessity to conserve the water that is available. That's the reason leaves are shed off to limit transpiration. They spread over the regions which receive rainfall between 70 to 200 centimeter. On the basis of the availability of water, these forests are further divided into moist and dry deciduous. The moist deciduous forests are the more pronounced in the regions which record rainfall between 100 to 200 centimeter. These forests are found in the northeastern states along the foothills of Himalayas, eastern slopes of Western Ghats and Orissa. Teak, Sal, Shisham, Hura, Mahua, Amla, Simul, Kusum and Sandalwood are the main trees of these forests. Second type of tropical deciduous forest is dry deciduous forest. By the word dry, you can easily understand that these forests are located at places where the amount of rainfall is low. Now, the range of annual rainfall is about 70 to 100 centimeter. So one side of the dry deciduous forest is consist of moist deciduous forest. Naturally, the rainfall here will be little more compared to the dry deciduous forest. In other side, you will find the thorny forest. I hope you have understood this kind of transition. The weather pattern of the places are similar to the moist deciduous forest, and they also shed their leaves in dry season. The only major difference is that a dry deciduous forest can grow in areas of less rainfall. The forests are mainly composed of grassland with naked trees all around. However, in the ground level, you will find solid growth of grass and climber plants because enough sunlight reaches the ground to permit the growth of grass and climber plants. These forests have suffered from overgrazing, forest fire, and large proportion of these forests have been cleared for the agricultural purposes. Dry deciduous forests are mainly seen in the areas of the northern plains and few portions of peninsular plateau. Now, tell me one thing, why there is very low or no forest cover found in the Indo Gangetic plains? Here, you have to remember one thing, the plains of northern India are densely populated. That has led to the deforestation of the tropical deciduous trees on a vast extent. Or we can say, especially for the clearance of land for urbanization, expansion of agriculture, and building transport infrastructure, etc. That's why the Indo Gangetic plains or the northern plains are not covered by the dense vegetation. Now let's move to the thorny vegetation. So basically here you will find thorny shrubs and bushy trees. You will even find a few tall trees. This kind of vegetation occurs in the areas that receive rainfall less than 50 centimeter. So you can imagine that there is a less rainfall. The roots of the trees are long and most of the water is stored. Since we know that these forests are found at a location with rainfall is less than 50 centimeter, that means the place can also called as a semi-arid areas. These forests are found in the areas of southwest Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. They are also found on the lower side of the Western Ghats, covering large areas of Maharashtra, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and few portions of Tamil Nadu. Here you have to remember one thing, they are basically the leeward side of Western Ghats. Now, some common trees found in this forest are babul, wild date palm, neem, etc. At the end, we can say it is not going to be much greenery. Leaves are thorny in nature. However, I am not saying that the trees of this forest don't have any leaves at all. The leaves are few and very small in size. The trees remain leafless for the most part of the year. That's how it looks like a shrub vegetation. Now we are going to discuss about the mountain vegetation. From the word mountain, you can easily understand it refers to the mountainous region. Mountain means land with higher elevation. You are familiar with the word normal lapse rate. It means when altitude increases, temperature decreases. With change in temperature, there will be a change in natural vegetation. Now, if you get a map of India, can you guess where the mountains are? Yes, in mainland India, you will find the mountains in the northern part. Here I am talking about Himalayas. It stretches from the northwest to the northeastern part of India. If you remember the Himalayan mountains, they are divided into three ranges. They are Himadri, which is the Greater Himalaya. Then comes Himachal, which is the Middle Himalayas. Then comes Shivalik Himalayas, that is the Lower Himalayas. The width as well as their altitude can vary from 900 meters to 8,000 meters above sea level. That means as we go from the foothills of Himalayas towards higher ranges, temperature drops, and that has a direct effect on the natural vegetation. Himalayan vegetation varies according to the altitude and the climatic conditions. Based on this, it can be classified into four types. Those are tropical, subtropical, temperate, and alpine. Now, we will divide Himalayan vegetation into two parts. Those are Western Himalayas and Eastern Himalayas. There are few differences between the Eastern Himalayas and the Western Himalayas. The dominant vegetation in the Western Himalayas is coniferous forest and alpine vegetation. The natural vegetation reflects the impact of lower rainfall. The eastern region receives 4 times more rainfall than the Western Himalayas. Due to high rainfall, it is covered with dense forest. The altitude of the Western Himalayas is higher than the Eastern Himalayas. Here, you have to remember the southern slopes of the Himalayas carry a thicker vegetation cover. Now I am going to discuss about the Eastern Himalayas. Here we will move from the higher altitude to lower altitude. Here you can see where the height is more than 5,300 meter. There you can see the presence of tundra vegetation. After that, from 4,000 to 5,300 meter height, there you can see, yes, alpine forest. Next, from 2,700 to 4,000 meter height, there will be coniferous forest. After that, from 1,300 to 2,700 meter height, there is evergreen forest. And at the last, where the height is less than 1,300 meter, there you can see the presence of deciduous forest. Next, for the Western Himalayas also, you can see the same things. But from 1,000 meter to 2,000 meter height, there you can see the presence of cheer pine belt. After that, here observe one interesting thing. Where the height is less than 1000 meter, the vegetation type will be shrub jungle and dry forest. As you already know that Western Himalayas receive less rainfall. That's why the forest type is also dry in nature. Here I have given the name of the trees for the Western Himalayas as well as for the Eastern Himalayas. You can make a quick note on the name of the trees. So, this was all about the vegetation in the northern mountains of India. Now, we will look at the vegetation in the southern mountains of India. When we say the mountains of South India, we refer to the areas of Western Ghats, Vindhya Range and areas of Nilgiris. Now, these places are in the tropics and the elevation is also not that much. It is around 1500 meters above sea level. So, it is not that high compared to the northern mountains. So with this much of height, the higher region of the southern mountains has temperate vegetation. It is going to be little cool, not that much. And the lower region of these mountains has subtropical vegetation. Western Ghats, Satpura Range and Vindhya Range are usually composed of moist deciduous forest. This kind of trees that you will find in this forest are teak, shisham, mahua, etc. Similarly, if you go to the higher origin of these mountains, you will find temperate forest. These places receive good amount of rainfall and they have a natural color of evergreen forest which changes to moist and dry deciduous forest as one comes down from the higher slope. So, these forests are also called sholas in Nilgiris, Annamalai and Palani hills, especially in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Now, the last one is littoral and swamp forest. Littoral and swamp means wetlands. Wetlands are the areas where water covers the soil or you will find the water near to the surface of the soil throughout the year. Let me quickly show you the places in India where you will find littoral and swamp forest. The country's wetlands have been grouped into 8 categories. The first one is the reservoirs of the Deccan Plateau in the southern India together with the lagoons and the wetlands of southern west coast, especially in the west side. Second, the vast saline expanses of Rajasthan, Gujarat and the Gulf of Kutch. Third one, freshwater lakes and reservoirs are spread through Rajasthan, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. Here please remember, Keoladio National Park is a man-made wetland. Fourth one, the delta wetlands and lagoons of India's east coast. For an example, Chilka Lake. Fifth one, the freshwater marshy land of the Gangetic Plain. Sixth one, the floodplains of Brahmaputra, the marshy land and swamps in the hills of northeastern part of India and obviously the foothills of Himalaya. Seventh one, the lakes and rivers of the mountain region in Kashmir and Ladakh. Eighth one, the mangrove forest and other wetlands in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Please remember one thing, mangroves grow along the coast in the salty or marshy land, especially in the tidal creeks, mud flats and estuaries. These forests have various salt absorbing trees. Their roots are deep and submerged in water. Palm, coconut, sundari are the main trees found in this type of vegetation. Wetlands provide habitat for animals and plants and supports a wide diversity of life. There was one international treaty for the conservation and sustainable use of wetlands. It is also known as the Convention on Wetlands. It is named after the city of RAMSAR in Iran, where the convention was signed in 1971. That's all about the natural vegetation in India. If this video is beneficial for you, please like the video and subscribe my channel and share it with your friends. If you have any doubt, please feel free to contact me. My mail ID is loveforgeography@gmail.com. Stay happy, stay safe, and I'm going to meet you very soon. Bye.